What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, The Misplaced American. I'm your host, Justin White. I'm really sorry about, the delay and, not posting episodes or not posting, it's just staying up to date with like Instagram and YouTube. To be honest, man, it's been kind of hard. Have a bit of an amnesty hour. I don't really have many topics written down or much written down. I've been struggling. Um, this lockdown has been really, really like towards the. I'm assuming I say towards the end for the UK. For people in everywhere else, like in America or my listeners wherever they are, um, the UK has still been in lockdown. They've opened like some like fast food places, but you can only order drive through. Takeaway places you can get food to go, but overall, man, the UK has been just like, you know, on standstill. And then we were all kind of waiting for, other jobs to open. Like for instance, my friends and I work at the gym, or we use the gym. People around my circle use the gym as an escape, or a way to make themselves feel better mentally, physically, and emotionally. And it, I guess I kind of was preparing myself a little bit for it when they announced, these things are opening July 4th. And it was a list, and it's always been a list of like whatever phase I say phase two or whatever, this phase of opening, we're gonna open these, and the gym was never really up there. It said hospitality and things like that sort, but the gym was never really up there. And so, like the back of my head, I was like, man, this is really gonna come down to um, us not being able to go to the gym again. And so I look at America and I get so jealous because I see all these people, my power lifters, working out again, back into their schedule, like they never fell off. America never really shut down as much, so it was kind of hard for me to see all these people in America. So I finally like, yeah, July 4th is gonna happen. I'm gonna get my job back at the gym. I'm gonna work out again, and then like the day came, or like a couple weeks ago, the announcement came out. These are all places that's opening on July 4th, and then like the gym is like specifically not one of those things that we're gonna open on July 4th. And I remember my friend called me, and I didn't hear the news first, or read it or see it. My friend called me, and excuse me, my friend called me and told me, she's like, "Hey, so how are you doing? Are you all right?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, yeah, I'm fine. I was actually having a really good day. She's like, "So has no one told you the news, or you don't know the news?" And I was like, "No, like what news?" She's like, "Gyms aren't gonna open in July 4th." And initially, I was like, "Oh, I'm fine. It's okay. I'll be all right." She was like, "You sure? You want to talk? I'm here." I was like, "No, no, no. I'm fine. I'm good." I hang the phone up, and like, I didn't really register at that moment. And then like 10 minutes later, I was kind of sitting there, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. It was like a sense of like, oh, like it went from like a calming sense to like an overwhelming just tidal wave, just pushed me down. It was like trying to drag me out to sea. And oh God, I didn't like. It was like I was speechless. I didn't know what to do. Like I was overwhelmed. My head was like it was just spinning because I was like, I want to work again. I'm sick of being in the house. I'm sick of not having my friends around. I'm sick of not being able to talk to people all the time. I want to work. Like I want to do things. Luckily, for my people who listen in America, the UK has been furloughed, so you get 80% of your pay. So that's been fine. But the thing is, just I wanna be around people. I want to like I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm a very much extroverted person. I love touching, hugging, seeing, smiling, making people laugh. That's what I do. That's what I enjoy. That's why I flourish. So hearing like the one thing that I feel like that's got me through so much in life is gone, or I can't have it. Like when everyone else is having their thing, I just collapsed. So yeah, that's been my mindset. I'm trying to bounce back from that. Just everything, just so much going on, but it's like nothing going on at the same time. So I've been struggling with that, and then with that came this rattling questioning in my brain, and I couldn't get it out of my head for the longest time. Like, I mean, I've been sitting down, I've been on it, and just like I go to bed and it rattles in my head. It's hard for me to sleep. I wake up and it's on my mind, and it's what makes me so special. That's been the burning issue with me. Posting, staying up to date with the podcast and everything. It's been what makes me special. What makes people want to listen to me? What makes people want to talk to me? What makes my problems any more important than anyone else's problems? What puts my feelings above someone else's feelings? And so that was another big issue I had for myself overcoming is what makes me special. You know, and I'm still thinking about it. I know people say, "Oh, you're special." You make people laugh, you make people smile. You're a good person to be around. But that makes does that make me unique? Does that make and it's again, it's just a self. I'm not, it's just a self reflection kind of battle I've been going through. I lay in bed and I look at the roof like before I go to bed, and I just sit there and think like, what am I doing? Like, why am I like why am I doing a podcast? Why am I posting on Instagram? Why am I acting like I have a million followers and I don't? And it was so this has been like so I kind of reached like a really 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 just low point in during this lockdown. And I'm being honest. It's really hard. Been really hard for just like me. I like to hear from other people. I talk to my friends. A lot of my friends have been saying the same. I'm trying to stay positive, trying to stay upbeat, but trying new things, and it's just really hard, and it is. And I don't blame anyone for like being upset about it. I'm upset. I finally reached a point where I just like I don't want to do anything. I don't want to be bothered. It's a difference, and it's funny because I look at America, and though things are opening or have never really closed, uh, it kind of looked like everyone got tired of it. Everyone was kind of just sick of being locked down or not doing anything. So they just like, oh, we're gonna open up. And I keep hearing more and more cases. I see about these rumors. I see like new symptoms or all this other stuff going on in America. And so I look at it, in other countries, and I'm like, hey, well, they did it right. They waited, they suffered through, and they, closed down and did all this stuff. But now, they're essentially, COVID free. I mean, the UK kind of, sort of tried to be as strict as other countries, but it was kind of relaxed. But even now, the UK is like some cases are going down, and like I said, I can see it's winding to an end. But overall, man, it's just like I people for people who think like me, people who constantly want and need to go out. And I say need, and obviously this lockdown has shown me I don't need to go out. But mentally, it's just people who just enjoy the presence of other people, the energy of other people. It's hard for us because and I say this because I have a lot of introverted friends who are perfectly fine with texting you, sitting behind a computer, watching Netflix all day, and being in bed or reading a book. So I'm not. This isn't a slight towards anyone. I just and like I said, and I don't have any topics. This is just kind of a check in for you guys, to let you know that I am still doing the podcast. I'm not quitting it. I'm not giving up on it. One thing I have noticed is like I got out of my routines, got out of my norms, which kind of I'm the kind of person. People who don't know me, excuse me, if I'm out of my routine or something isn't going the way I planned it, I tend to shut off. And all my friends can attest to this. I will give you my direct plan and my direct like what I want to do from point A to Z. And the moment I get somewhere and then like my timing's off, or someone tells me they cancel, or they want to rearrange their time if they don't see me or do something, my brain immediately just I sit in quiet for like 10-15 minutes to reprogram my brain to that new plan. I've learned to deal with it, but people being introduced to my life have been now seeing that, and they ask me like, "Why are you so quiet? Why are you shutting down? Why are you shutting off?" And it's not intentional. So if you're ever around me and you see me like you want to change a plan, I can go with the flow. I'm a very much go with the flow kind of person. Just allow me a few minutes to reprogram my brain to do that. So I've had to do that a lot more during this lockdown because I've constantly just gone out of my routine. Uh, Waking up later, sleeping, going to bed later, waking up earlier, going to bed earlier, stuff like that. Down to even like where I'm going. Like so things are starting to open again. So I started, going to shop, maybe going to driving by a shop just to see what was like the line was like. Going to the grocery store a lot more. I mean, some good things have come out of it. I've started cooking more. I'm trying to learn recipes. Uh, yeah, I'm trying to balance the negative with the positive, and it's just like I said. If you know me, I'm a very super positive New me, it's a very super positive person. It's just as of late, it's been so difficult because, and like I said, I'm being honest. Uh, and I like to hear other people's honesty. If you had any issues, send me a comment, message, anything. I love to hear what people have done to overcome any issues they've had with having to cancel things or uh, because I just got essentially got an email back reminding me of like, oh, we owe you money for a trip that you couldn't go on, and that kind of brought me down again because if you know me, I'm a bit of a wanderlust. I love traveling. If I don't travel every 2 to 3 months, I get cranky, I get angry, I get irritable. It's just because I love seeing new stuff, doing new things, meeting new people. That's just who I am. And for you to tell me like I can't do something is just like, oh yeah. One thing I love is like traveling to the gym, and I can't do either of those things. So it's like now I have to change who I am essentially. I I was supposed this year. I was supposed to go to Malta. I was supposed to go to Dublin. I was supposed to go to Barcelona twice. I think. Uh, and just anywhere else. Um, but yeah, everything is kind of just keeps like it seems like dangling in front of me. I'm not sure my British friends know, but there's an American commercial. I think it's State Farm or Allstate, where like this old man is fishing and he throws the fishing rod in the grocery store and holds like this $1 bill in front of this guy's face, and she's like, "Oh, you got to be quicker than that." He keeps snatching it up. It's kind of what's happening. Like someone's dangling like the trips and the gym in front of me, and every time I get close to it, it's like, "Oh, got to be quicker than that." So uh, I do miss traveling more, a lot more. I can't wait to start traveling again. I love traveling is my thing. I love seeing new places. I love, when I get to a new country, finding out the word for thank you or finding out how you say, where's this or this drink, just trying to act like I care. And I miss drinking in other countries. That's something so big for me. Is like because you make so many friends in bars, and like even if people who don't think are friends. Like I think the last, I went like I said, I think I went to Amsterdam, and I just met this random, I think American guy, and we just kind of just started talking and drinking, and like he started buying me shots, and we just like found him on Instagram, and now I have a random connect in Amsterdam, and that's just kind of what traveling does for me. It gives me that like outlet and it gives me more networking opportunities to meet more people. I'm not sure who I'm gonna be or what I'm gonna be like after this lockdown is over. I can't imagine traveling being the same. I, for my lifetime, it kind of seems like my generation. And when I say my generation, I don't really know the years for generations, but I would say people from the '80s to mid '90s, maybe even I would say early 2000s. For us, we've kind of been in this monumental change for like moments for us. Like I know before us there was segregation. And there were bigger racial issues. And I'm not here to talk about race issues, but I know that every generation has had their major flaws or issues in life. And I feel like for us, we we weren't we weren't prepared for it because we were being coddled a lot more. The internet came around when I was a kid. I remember we transferred from VCRs to DVD to Blu-ray to digital. I was there from the start. I became from uh, cassette tapes to CD players to non-skip CD players. The cool little thing where you tap it and you're like, "Ooh, it's no skip." um, to MP3s, to iPod shuffles, to iPad Touch, iPod Touch, to iPhones, and now essentially you can just put your AirPods in your ear, wireless, and just tap it and play and go about your day. Like, so my generation has always been like the generation that's been given everything, and we have so many advances and so much access to technology and knowledge. So when this came around, it kind of seemed to throw us back to not being able to do anything but be on technology. So it just seems like a big for us. Like I feel like older people, it's a struggle for them because they don't like the concept of. I say older, the generation before me. It's a bigger concept before them. It's a harder concept, I think, or easier concept for them to uh, do think because they know that's what they want. They're used to spending time with family. They enjoy spending time with their families, being home, doing things. And this is, I'm not speaking for all the generation before me, but it just from what I'm seeing. I've been hearing nothing but positivity from them. Like, oh, this is rough, but excuse me, gotta drink my tea, guys. Full British now, all about the tea. Uh, but it seems like for them, it's been family time. I get time to read my books. I'm getting time to clean. I'm getting time to do all the things that I've been wanting to do. Whereas my generation, we've made such like a norm of going out and just even if we're on our phones, we're going to our friend's house to be on our phones. We made it such a norm to go to a bar, hit and like talk to people. We made it such a norm to go to a coffee shop and do homework, and sit at Starbucks and do homework, or sit in the library and do things. We've been so conditioned to do all these things, and now we're being forced to sit at home. And so I don't know. And like I said, I'm not asking for sympathy or anything. It's just it seems like a lot lately. A lot more people have been coming out and saying, this is. I'm not happy. Like, I'm over it. And and it does seem like we're getting tired of it. But what can you do? You got to listen. And this is bigger. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than us. The world was essentially exposed to. The world didn't listen, and then we were immediately exposed to essentially an event that changed history for us. Like, if this hadn't come around, who knows what would have happened? But there was literally a moment the earth stood still. No one like no cars were on the road. People were stuck at home, and so this was monumental. Like, so, and for a generation that's speaking more openly about the mental health states, and for a generation that's more open about how we feel, excuse me, a generation that's about more about how we feel, and we can discuss. We don't care about if I hurt your feelings. Like, if this is how I feel, I'm not going to suppress how I feel or what I think about you. So for us to discuss our mental state during this time is important because we are used to that. Like, before, I remember being told, boys don't cry, you know, get over it, stuff like that. But now I've seen people coming out. This is the help support suicide support line, or this is the mental health support line, stuff like that. So for my generation, it seems like we are making positive strides, and we are reaching out for people who need help. And I never understood the term "look out for your." I used to joke around with it, or watch your happy friends because they're the ones who need the help the most. And they post pictures of Adam Sandler, Robin Williams, or people like that. And I'm like, oh, I guess my happy friends aren't happy enough because they're too broke to be that way. But it's more than that. I guess it's seemingly And I apologize for ever being that ignorant, because people always see me as this super happy guy, and I struggle just as much, if not more, than the average person, because I I can't be happy all the time, and it bothers me in my brain that I can't be happy all the time, and I want to be happy all the time. I really do, and so when I'm not happy, I beat myself up more because I know people expect me to be happy. My friend talked to my friend Rebecca recently. Shout out to Rebecca. She's been talking to me a lot, and she's like, you can't always be the hero. you know, sometimes you gotta ask for help. My friend Janine, shout out Janine, she said the same thing. She's like, sometimes you gotta just let people help you. And I'm not the kind of person who wants people to help me. My mom called me the other day and she's like, you're doing good. How are you? Blah blah blah, this and that. I'm fine. She's like, if you ever need anything, talk to us. I was like, I'm fine. And she's like, you've always been, and she's known me, since I was the day I turned 16. I had a job, and so I've always been kind of self reliant. I've never wanted to ask people for help. I've never wanted to ask my parents, to do things for me. But yeah, I don't know, man. This lockdown is going to be the end of this lockdown. I'm excited to see what's going to happen afterwards. So how people are going to act, what the climate's going to be like. Like what how are we going to be awkward in front of people? I look at people now and I'm like, oh, can I hug you? Like I'm a hugger. Can I hug you? Do I shake your hand? Do you want an elbow? You know, I, I hope everyone's doing well. Like I said, I have more cool information updates coming with stuff. I've been working with the Redirect podcast with Karan and Devon. Like I said, I love talking to them. Karan was my best friend growing up, so it's always supernatural. And Devon is just a very smart individual, very well spoken. So it's super easy to talk to them. So if you check out the Redirect podcast, I have episode with them, a couple episodes with them. Uh, I just trying to stay up to date and trying to keep you guys, entertained as much as possible. Not all episodes, like I said, this is my one of those one-off episodes where I'm just kind of giving you guys an insight, look into what's going on with me, and I do plan on doing interesting episodes. Just know more about, not much about, even though it is a current situation, with the racism going on and COVID going on, I want to distract you from that and I put that in your line of sight. But I love everyone. Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone was blessed. Have a great day, great night, great afternoon, and make good choices.